Hey guys, it's Naisha,
And this is Renee.
and today we're going to be talking about the
The
Roman
Roman
afterlife. So the first question that we're going to be talking about is,
What purpose do stories of the afterlife serve for those who are still living?
personally, I think that would, the purpose of the afterlife, that it would serve for others would be something like comfort or closure in knowing that there's something out there other than just like dying and rotting in the ground. I'm really religious, so I believe in hell and heaven. Like, if you do good in your life, right, like in your current life, you'll go to heaven. Or if you do bad in your current life right now, you'll go to hell. And there's always that in between in the afterlife.
Yeah, I'm not religious, but I still believe that there's something after we die. I'm just not completely sure what. But I also think that it serves as like education for us who are still living, so we understand like why the Romans did some of the things that they did, and because they wanted to do good in the afterlife.
Connecting to that, I was also like thinking, how our physical body obviously dies, but like our soul, like where does our soul really go? And I've been hearing a lot about past lives around in the internet and stuff like that. People who are remembering, is it like some memory from your soul? Like, does your soul just pass on to someone else when you die?
Oh, well, yeah. I don't think that it goes to another person, but it goes somewhere. I don't think the soul dies. I think it's always out there, And because we know about the Roman afterlife, that is kind of, like you said, a comfort, because some people are afraid of death, and it's nice to know that even after death, you're still kind of
living on somewhere.
Yeah, you're alive somewhere, and it's comforting to know like exactly where you go. Even though we're not really sure, it's still nice to have an idea, and that's what they give you when they tell you about the afterlife.
Yeah, and I think learning about this too kind of like gives us an idea of what was going on inside the Romans' head, like what purpose it served them to think, like believe about the afterlife, because they also talk about like the monsters of hell and gods and goddesses, and how in their current life they have to please the gods to have a good life in their afterlife, have a good afterlife, either in hell or in heaven, like, find a good spot in the hierarchy, I would say. So that would be a wrap for this question, and we'll see you after the break. Bye! Hey guys, we're back, and the next question we're going to be discussing today is, how does learning about the Romans' beliefs about the afterlife help you to live and to interact in the modern world?
Alright, so I think this really connects with the previous question about how just knowing about the way that they view the afterlife is comforting, because a lot of people have a fear of dying, and they don't want to die because it's unknown what happens when you die, and that's really scary for some people because they like to, I guess, plan ahead and know what's going on. And so when you know about the Romans' beliefs about the afterlife, it's comforting because it gives you some hope that there's something out there after we die for our soul. Our soul can go somewhere.
Yeah, because personally I feel like the biggest fear in humanity would be the unknown, not knowing what's gonna happen, not knowing what's happening at the moment, not knowing where you're going, or just not knowing anything at all. I feel like that's a big issue in our world today. It drives people to do certain things, either bad or good. It kind of messes with our minds. It's kind of like a indirect mind control from some force out there that might be just watching us or something like that.
Yeah. And when we have that comfort of kind of knowing what's going to happen, it helps us to kind of get over that fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it helps us face that fear a little bit.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about it, and it'll be easier. Plus, another reason how their beliefs would help us is just like, you can
kind of learn about how things worked back then. Like, I know we have historians and things like that and scientists that kind of like try to figure that out, but we don't exactly know for sure how they were thinking, like how they figured out things, how their minds worked. Like, I feel like just learning like their beliefs and just sitting down and just talking about them and just thinking about them just kind of gives you an idea of what was going on inside their heads, like what they thought under perspective of life and what the future might hold for them.
Yeah. The Romans, they have a lot of beliefs, and right now in English we're reading Julius Caesar, and in there it kind of shows that they really believe in like pride. They are proud of themselves, and they're proud
really
to be
prideful
Romans.
of who they are.
Yeah, and they also revolve a lot of their life around pleasing the gods and doing everything so they won't make the gods angry. And now in our own culture here, we don't really have to worry about that because there's so many different religions.
Yeah, now I guess we're a little bit more free now. We're more diverse, I would say, because I feel like back then you had like your objective was that purpose. Like, your purpose was to please the gods, so you would have a good afterlife. Like, the afterlife was what really mattered, and not just your life right now. And I feel like in our society today, we kind of, it's more free, I would say. There's still things holding other people back from really being proud of themselves and just showing their religion, like what they believe in. But I feel like now we can really speak out what we think and just show what we believe in and not be embarrassed of it and not have to think one way because somebody tells you to.
I agree. Yeah. We do have similarities with their beliefs, though, because some religions do want to obviously please whatever god or gods that they believe in, but at the same time there are a lot of people who don't believe in anything, and that's a big difference, because I feel like if people like that would have lived when the Romans were around and everything, that would have been not okay with them, and they probably would have gotten
in trouble or something like that.
Yeah, they would have gotten in trouble.
They're also really strict back then, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, you had to think a certain way, you had to act a certain way, you had to dress a certain way. Now, people just kind of don't really care, you know? They just let you be you. Like, I mean, there's still judgment in their eyes, but they don't really have... I mean, there's always that one or two that would tell you something. But, like, I guess, like, they feel like they don't really have the right to tell you anything on who you can be and what you can think like or what you can believe. But, like, back then, like, the laws were different. Society was different. The norms, taboos, everything. It's like, it was a little, like, their image was so important to them back then. And that's one of the, like, main things that makes us different from the Romans back when they were still here in this world.
We have a lot more freedom to express ourselves and our beliefs, and they didn't really, because if you didn't fit that norm,
I guess
like,
you'd kind of
you.
be like, yeah, you'd kind of like be an outcast in a society. Like,
yeah.
I guess also a big thing that humanity would be afraid of is loneliness. And I guess maybe there were some people back then that didn't really believe in anything, but in fear of being lonely and being by themselves, just like taken out from society, thrown out from it, I guess in fear of that, they just kind of went with the norm.
Yeah.
Just to please, not just the Romans, the society too. Because, like, that was a big thing back then. Like, I guess people kind of, like, we learned that they just wanted to please the gods. But, like, I feel like they also had that one part of them that just wanted to please everybody else too.
Yeah. Because if you weren't accepted, then, like, something bad could happen to you, especially if it was, like, with the wrong people. Because I know in Julius Caesar, when they go against Caesar, they would get killed. Or, like, they wouldn't be allowed back into Rome. And that's, like, a really big thing, and that could be scary. So you would just
Go with the flow.
You wouldn't express how you really feel because you want to be in Rome and you want to stay there.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to die if it gets that bad.
You don't want to be that first person to take that step forward, you know? Because I'm pretty sure there was more than one person. And there still is that problem. There's still people that are too afraid to be that one first person to take that step forward in fear of being denied or rejected by society and everybody else.
But back then it was different because, like, now if you go against everyone, you're not going to it's not as likely for you to get banned from, like, the United States.
You're not as discriminated against.
Yeah, because there will honestly be more people willing to support you now. But back then it was scary because even if there were a lot of you, you know, there was still a higher power up, like Caesar.
Yeah, the laws were different. Like, in Caesar, his own court went against him because society wasn't, apparently, according to them, society wasn't happy with him.
But when they did it, didn't they ended up all getting killed after, right? Pretty positive.
No, actually, one of them tried to make the same court, Tyrambe court. One of the ones that killed him tried to make that court, but obviously ended up failing again.
Well, yeah, because Brutus killed himself, I think, with the same knife that he stabbed Caesar with, and someone else died. It backfires when you go against everyone back then, but now it's different. You could go against people, and yeah, you'd get
in trouble. There's still consequences for your actions, but like
they're not
as severe. So yeah, that was a wrap for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. So
see you next week.